via a blocked punt, a fumble recovery, and an interception, and it's just hard to win. It's hard to win, period, but it's hard to win when you do that. So we'll own it. We understand the challenges that you run into in an NFL season, and we'll just keep our head down and keep working. But with that, I'll take any questions. Obviously don't want to do that, but we got to be smarter there.
Kevin Stefanski's latest comments after the Browns game against the Ravens have thrown the entire fan base into chaos. When pressed about Shedeur Sanders' chances of playing, Stefanski hinted that the team could shake up its rotations and even suggested Sanders might step onto the field in the very next game. Why does this matter? Let's be real. Joe Flacco has been nothing short of a disappointment. His failures were exposed against the Ravens, and it's obvious the offense has been lifeless with him running the show. Now Stefanski is teasing a possible change in strategy, and that could mean Shedeur Sanders is finally about to get his shot. This isn't some casual rotation move. This could be the moment that flips the entire Browns season upside down. With Joe Flacco falling flat week after week, Sanders might be the firepower this team has been begging for. Let's break down how this could reshape the Browns' future and why Sanders could completely shift the energy on the field.
I thought a couple times there were opportunities and we just didn't connect for whatever the reason, but that's our job to get guys open as a coaching staff.
In his post-game comments, Kevin Stefanski didn't sugarcoat Joe Flacco's performance. He flat out admitted that Flacco was below par, confessing there were key moments in the game where Flacco simply failed to move the ball the way the offense demanded. Stefanski even highlighted that there were obvious chances in the playbook that Flacco just couldn't read or capitalize on, exposing exactly why the offense is stalling under him. This is a huge statement from the head coach because it's basically a loud signal that the Browns are ready to shake things up at quarterback. If this team wants to make noise and actually compete, they can't keep rolling with a quarterback who keeps blowing key moments. Stefanski's call-out of Flacco's failures isn't just a critique, it's a warning sign that the Browns are preparing for a major change under center. And with Shedeur Sanders waiting as the possible game-changer, the writing on the wall for Flacco's future in Cleveland couldn't be clearer. The real question now is, will Shedeur Sanders be the one to finally step up and take the reins? Stefanski's assessment is spot on because when you look at the blunders Joe Flacco made, it's obvious he was totally out of sync. The late throws, the turnovers, the missed completions, those weren't small errors, they completely flipped the momentum of the game. At times, Flacco looked like he was moving in slow motion, clutching the ball too long, and that hesitation almost always ended with him getting sacked.
Flacco, pressure's coming, he's in trouble, he throws as he falls.
Flacco's biggest problem in that moment was pure hesitation. He held back on the throw, trying to get a clearer look at the play, but by the time he finally made a decision, it was already too late. The Ravens' defense had collapsed on him, and with nowhere to run, he was dragged down for a sack. This wasn't just a bad play, it was a total collapse in timing and decision-making. And the worst part? It wasn't an isolated mistake. This same failure happened over and over again throughout the game. At another crucial moment, Flacco held onto the ball too long, waiting for some perfect throw that never came, and the Ravens' defense crashed down on him fast. He couldn't release it in time, and once again, he was dragged down for a sack. But as bad as the sacks were, Flacco added insult to injury with another costly blunder later in the game. On a scramble to the right, he tried to create something with his legs, but when the Ravens' defense closed in, instead of throwing it away or just taking the sack, he made a reckless choice. Flacco fired the ball toward a receiver smothered in coverage, and of course, it ended in a brutal interception. The Ravens wasted no time cashing in on the turnover, marching straight back into Browns territory and setting themselves up to score. It was a disastrous sequence that not only killed a possible offensive drive, but also handed Baltimore an easy chance to stretch their lead. After the game, Joe Flacco didn't dodge the blame. He admitted outright that he misread the situation multiple times, made poor decisions, and kept getting trapped in bad spots. Flacco was blunt about the reality that, as the quarterback, he has to perform better, especially when it comes to reading defenses and reacting faster with the ball.
Just kind of living for the next down, and I didn't do it on that one. I saw kind of Dave turning up and just thought I had a chance there. I didn't think it would end in a pick. I thought, if anything, it would be incomplete. But yeah, it's one of those third downs. Listen, you got to play the game. You got to consistently make those right decisions. Even if you feel pressed to make something happen, you can't let that happen.
His body language said it all. Flacco looked drained and beaten down, and it was obvious the weight of the moment was crushing him. The frustration and stress were written all over his face, and you can't ignore the growing sense that he might not be able to handle the pressure of being the starter much longer. When Flacco was asked about the chance of being replaced in the next game, his answer spoke volumes. Without directly admitting it, he practically accepted his fate. He admitted the decision wasn't in his hands, and all he could do was wait for the call. Flacco insisted he would keep leading the team as best he could whenever given the chance, but ultimately, whether he plays or not is a choice he has no control over.
You know, I got to go out there and just play my game, play the way I know how to, lead this team the best I can. You know, all that other stuff, it's out of my control. It is what it is. I mean, the only thing I can control is how I play and how this team, you know, shows up every day. So, you know, it really isn't in the thought process. So,
Joe Flacco's time in Cleveland looks finished, and everyone knows it. Shedeur Sanders is the spark the Browns can't keep ignoring. The pressure on Kevin Stefanski to make the switch is undeniable. Subscribe now for every breaking update on this explosive saga.